Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Spartan O Negative in the house. Thank you for that 1111. Boy, guys, have you guys been, how do you guys feel? And are you having all sorts of electronics issues? It's been a crazy day.
It has. It's been really, really crazy. And thank you so much, Spartan O Negative. Hi, you guys. It's great to see everybody.
We got Renee and Gary. Gary says, what's the latest? Well, there's a lot going on out there. That's an understatement. To say everything that's going on, man, we are, it'll give you whiplash just paying attention to everything happening.
It will. We're getting pulled in so many different directions. There's so many different things going on. It's like one of those things where you have a million clothes in your closet and you're just not sure what to wear. We're not sure what to cover.
Well, it's not the case with us. We're going to be walking around naked pretty soon because our clothes are all falling apart from, being in the dirt and in the garden which is good. So we got some tomato plants in the, raised bed area. And they did good after being transplanted. And so things are moving forward. And
Yep. Life is good. Life is great.
I saw there was a request.
Okay. Roar!
There we go. So we got Arizona Raven, Azaduzaman, good to see you, brother. Nicole, much love as always. Nuclear Quantum Lasers in the house. He's roaring too. Grizzly in the house as well. Yeah, of course. And Nicola and Scott and Tracy. We are live. I hope you guys could hear me. Tell me you could hear me, guys. Just because it's been crazy. It took like forever to get this thing to get going. I was watching Dr. Batar, and I could see that everybody's having issues with this new system.
Yeah, it does. It does take like a lot of time to get things up and running.
It does. And just want to make sure, can somebody tell me that you can hear us? And we love you too, Mark. Okay, good. Awesome. Thank you. You just never know now. I did a video on the main channel, and it's so obvious, everything in the world. We're going to focus on the love and the light side over here a little bit more, as well as the mysteries and everything. One of the things everybody's talking about is the Schumann and the incoming energies. And thank you guys for participating in that meditation at 11 and 11. So, look at the Schumann. Have you guys seen the Schumann today? It's been going crazy. And gotta wonder, is this part of it? There's incoming energies. Some are calling it like a positron storm coming in. It's definitely, a lot of people are feeling really tired, and kind of wiped out. These energies could hit you pretty hard. You see the power's up to 88, so that's really high. And this is, of course, relating to the consciousness of the planet as we are ascending and going through the ascension process. We got to just keep purging, guys. Keep purging. Nicola says she could hear on one device, not the other. Yeah, it's weird. Good to see you, Kimmy. Morning Star Story. Karen Lynn. Joffrey's in the house. Christine. Daniel Oakfish, his birthday is 1/11. He's always seen 11/11. Yeah, he is. Gary says solar flare. I was thinking too, the relationship, like we've talked about the fact that the magnetosphere is kind of down, our shields are down, but we could look at it too as, our body has a magnetosphere for itself. And so in QiGong, we would call it the Wei Qi field. And when it's strong, when we're treating ourselves right, and doing things like eating healthy, getting regular exercise, meditation, Qigong, yoga, as well as, keeping in a positive frame of mind, then it's high. When it's low, and then we get susceptible to dis-ease.
We do, and our body is like little electrical units, and we make electrical connections even out in the ether with the sun, and it's all different layers of electricity. So the more conductive you are, depending on like the food that you eat, the more your little cells can talk back and forth, and the better you feel.
Very cool. Spartan O negative. It's got a raised bed made out of cedar, 8 feet tall, can do hanging or vining plants. That's really cool. Yeah, and as Cindy was saying, we are, and it's an electric universe as well. So it's all about conductivity. So, what helps that is making sure you have good balance of minerals in your body as well. And trace minerals is something that I've taken for years now. Ever since I started doing a lot of energy work, make sure to take trace minerals, because it keeps you kind of electrified and keeps your body being able to be conductive.
And water is a really good conduit. Like when we take a bath, Himalayan salt, a little handful of Himalayan salt is really good to keep all those minerals and stuff going. Hi, Miss Susan Donahue.
Hello, Susan. Wonderful to see all you guys again. And Spartan O with the 111, keeping those ones rolling. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you so much, Spartan.
So, we're at a critical time, really. I mean, we know that these dark forces are doing their absolute best to manifest, literally hell on earth. And so we have to do our absolute best to manifest the opposite, heaven on earth. And, that's something that's going to take a certain tipping point. We have to wake up people to a certain degree. It's that collective consciousness that, we're always creating our own reality. And it's always a fine line. Like the one I put up today, I almost didn't do it. Well, I did it, then I almost not uploaded it, which I've done at least lately more and more, because I don't want to put out anything negative. But at the same time, it's like you gotta wake up others to this so we could get them also focused on manifesting a positive outcome.
That's really important, because the space outside of us is always listening. It's always listening, taking in information, taking in orders. And I do believe that we can build up information in our body, good information, and then put it out there into the ether, and the ether will listen to that information and do what we say in a way.
And Rosemary shared that seaweed and like foods from the sea have the highest trace minerals, seawater or seafood. So, such a good thing to do is a nice green shake, spirulina, chlorella, things along those lines. They could really do wonders for your body. And it's making me think that that'll be what I'll do after we get done with this live. So, pouring rain in Texas. Yeah, some pretty strong storms down that way. I saw Joe Free saying it was pretty wild out there in Alabama as well.
Oh my gosh, rain. We've actually had a lot of rain lately. It's great.
Yeah, it actually rained overnight last night again. So pretty awesome. It's definitely looking greener. Oh, wow. Spartan's going crazy today.
Thank you, Spartan O negative. I love these numbers. And you know what? Electricity, mathematics, it's all about the numbers, isn't it?
Yeah, because we do live in a matrix of sorts. And, there's sacred geometry, which is a great subject. Probably haven't talked about that enough lately. A lot of my very, very first videos were more towards that end. And, pretty cool stuff. Yes, behold the spoken word. So we have the Schumann going crazy, we have the incoming energies, and we have people sending out positive intentions to manifest in this world at 11 and 11. It's just gonna take a concerted effort, because we have to pull the curtain down, so everybody can see exactly what is going on, and then throw our concerted effort and keep throwing it as we're waiting for others to wake up keep throwing our effort into manifesting that positive outcome.
That's right. And our energy, I feel when it's of a positive vibration, is a lot stronger than the negative energy.
So, you guys have seen this, and we talked about this, and people are interested in this. We are here with you. It's still ongoing, guys. There's still things rolling on, and people are still seeing this. We are here with you. And, I don't think it has anything to do with Q, honestly. I mean, that's my personal opinion, because the wording wasn't the exact same for one. And it just doesn't feel like it to me. This feels more like this is some of the ETs, perhaps, letting us know, that we're not alone, because we aren't.
No, we're not alone. And Q says, I'm beginning to think we're coded light. Yes, very, very good. There were a lot of things that they haven't mentioned to us in school, like the fourth state of matter. How many, I don't know, I wasn't really taught about the fourth state of matter being plasma.
Really good.
Is it the fifth?
Yeah, but plasma, I mean, so that's something that was one of the first things I learned, and I was trying to remember if it was when I was 7 or 8, because I moved into this creepy house, and it was, really, it was very haunted, honestly. And when we moved in there, it was completely empty. Besides, in the basement, there was a book. And I've shared that with you guys before. And it was Franz Barden, Initiation into Hermetics. And it was all about creating elementals, magic. It was about, these different states of beings. And we've talked about elemental beings as well that are made out of one pure element. And it actually has techniques into how to do that, and even techniques onto how to create an egregore, or like the legendary golem creature as well. And it reminded me, I guess it slips away from me how old I'm getting, because I keep thinking, well, that was probably 20 years ago or something, and then I look back and recognize, wow, that was more like maybe 32 years ago, so. Yeah, this year I'll be double nickel. Oh my God. Double nickel. It's crazy. But anyway, I've studied every single system I can, and it's just been my life path my entire life. So, study the Kabbalah and Hermeticism, you name it. Every major religion out there have taken part in services from every Christian denomination, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist, even, never really once with in a mosque. That's the one that I haven't done, although I have read the Quran. So it was a point of mine to learn from everybody so you could see the truth, because if you just look at one thing, from one angle, it's hard to see exactly where there's congruity. And it was just so interesting that book happened to be left for me there. And it's, one of the first things they start talking about is the Akash, Akashic records, different working with the elements, elemental beings, everything like that. Pretty cool stuff.
It is cool stuff. And I think these are the things that should be taught in school, not the things they teach us so we can become batteries for the system. I think we should be taught these quality things that help us grow from the inside out and be better human beings and have different ideas.
Well, thank you, Arizona Raven. Ugh, you're old. Yes. So yeah, I wanted to bring this up again because, this "we are here with you," as we lost the post there, but because we've got so much stuff going and we've had so many things that we've seen. And I wanted to share with you guys some of the stuff that I know we always have new people coming in. Some of the stuff that, photos that we've taken mostly as, we've experienced a ton of stuff. Isn't this cool? Now, this is a friend of mine down in Florida. And what do you make of that? That almost hits me as I could see how people would think it might be Mount Olympus up there,
There, it just changed. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Darla and Aw, thank you. Special thanks to Cindy for a reading she gave us. What a great job she did. Thanks, you guys. You guys were so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. We truly appreciate it. And anybody that's interested in it, just reach out to us at evolutionaryenergyarts at gmail. Or you could do Cynthia Lazaro 33. No, she's not a 33rd degree Mason. That's her life path number at Gmail. And we could set up a time. So, I mean, I could see how, people could have looked at this in ancient Greece and thought that was Mount Olympus, floating on by. As we go up in consciousness, we're going to see more and more crazy stuff, guys. That's just par for the course.
It is, and I do believe we're kind of on the cusp of some sort of a tipping point here where we're going to know more.
And so what do you guys see with this? It's interesting. I mean, I see a face in there too, but I see faces everywhere. And it's pretty cool. It's definitely pretty wild. Yeah, there are wild things in the sky, Susan. You see a dolphin. Pam sees a dolphin. Thought makes a vibration. Yes, it does. Most definitely. John says his is 33 also. Very cool. Deej says cool. And I thought too, when I blew this up and looked farther back, it looked curious. You always wonder if there's cloaked ships up there or what. And then look at this one back here. This is kind of like that same weird pattern farther back. I thought it was pretty cool, so I wanted to share it with you guys. And then we have this. This is when we were on our Mount Shasta trip. And, we've had a lot of drones. And I don't think the majority of the drones that we see are necessarily ours, meaning military or personal property, especially some of these move so fast, it just is mind-blowing. And that's a curious little thing up there, too. The thing that hits me is you could kind of see the life force or the energy field around it. It's kind of glowing.
Yeah, we all have these energy fields, and they're a little bit different, depending on your expression. But they're really important that we keep those intact, and somebody mentioned thoughts are vibrations, and they are. And sometimes we have thoughts that might cause traumas, and those vibrations will sit in the energy field. And, one of the things we do is the energy work, and we try to heal those standing energy waves that might be stuck or trapped in the energy field. So, yeah, I mean, life is just so interesting. All the things that they don't teach us is the best stuff.
Yeah, Chris says he caught Starlink again. A lot of people are catching Starlink, but the other thought I want to put out there is if, now that we all think about Starlink first, what if some of it's not Starlink? And we're just thinking, oh, that's Starlink again. Mm-hmm. And Wild Otter, yes, thank you. It is evolutionaryenergyarts at gmail.com. Although I am going to try to get a different source from Gmail. I would love to just distance myself from everything with these big corporations as much as possible. Oh, thank you, Susan. Aww. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Miss Susan. PSA, special thanks to Mike and Cindy for a terrific energy session. You're welcome. It was fun.
So that I thought was a really cool thing too. And then coming over here, this kind of looks like an eye in the sky, doesn't it not? And it's another orb type of thing. And some of them, I think, are definitely drones. Other ones feel more like they're beings to me than drones. Yeah, and so this one feels a little more being-ish to me as we shift. And I see there's a time lag. Yeah. I really... They put a whole new system in as far as going live, and it really kind of stinks because it makes things way more complicated. But I'm sure it's all about AI. So what do you guys make on that one? What do you think this is up there? And it wasn't taken behind any glass. This was just simply just basically sitting out there on the porch looking up and doing a video. And then our Kimberly Mount Shasta has got an eagle eye, so she was pointing out things left and right to us, saying, "Did you see what you caught at 158?" And be like, "No," and then go and move it at 25.25 speed, and then you'd see something fly in. So pretty cool. I actually think that the skies are full of ET craft, and I think now more than ever. And, this one too, this could be ours. It looks like it's two rockets, but it might be something part of the Space Force / secret space program.
Let's see. Aylin H, thank you. She says, please may I give your followers a gift? I think so. Thank you so much for your support.
The skies are loaded, so I encourage you guys too, especially now. If you've ever watched, oh gosh, I'm going to forget his name now. Who were we watching a lot lately? Dr. Stephen Greer.
Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Stephen Greer, which, well, he's got a military background, which may make you a little suspicious, but he's a military, well, he was a emergency trauma surgeon, but he's obviously come out with tons of stuff, talking about everything that's out there and up there. And he said that, if you just go out there with the intention of seeing something and put it out there, hey, benevolent beings, star brothers and sisters, we would love to see you. Can you let me know if you're there? Yeah, and then, so often people will see something. Mm-hmm. Something will flash on. It'll look strange, and it'll be something maybe you can't, identify.
Yeah. Alea says, I wrote a book in 2004 about the events that are coming, and I would like to be able to give all the followers a free copy of the book. It's about everything that you guys talk about.
We could link it, sure.
Yeah, we can link it.
For sure. We could put in links, on a video, and we'll check it out and talk about it. Mm-hmm. So here's another one that's throwing off a really curious energy field, which makes me think that maybe it's not just, the guy down the street's drone, because of the energy field that you could see around it. What's your impressions?
It feels like there's more than one being there that comes to my mind. It's like a team effort of some kind. Yeah.
It's an unusual shape, to say the least. Okay, and was that one? That was that one. Now let me play this for you guys. So this was last night, and so we see these beings on a regular basis, and when they're there for hours. It's like there's either a mothership or a portal that opens up, and then one after another, they just keep coming. And what's really curious is that they glow bright at a certain spot, and I don't know if it's like they are kicking on thrusters or putting on a brake. I don't know, but Cindy did reach out and got impressions from them, and they don't want us. They actually stopped last night when we were filming them early, because they, she got kind of the message that they don't want us to share location and give specifics, but it's okay to talk about it in general terms.
Yeah, that's what I kept getting, these little stabs in my gut, saying stop, stop. But it's just so amazing to know that there's something more there, and it's obvious.
And so we're having a campfire, and we saw them, and again, it's like they emerge from kind of a ship or something. And then, now last night we weren't at as good an angle as we were one other time, and I got some photos the other times instead of the video today. And, as soon as they knew we were watching them, well, not when we were watching them. It was okay that we were watching. As soon as we started filming, so you see it come on there. As soon as we started filming, then they it's like they turned on a cloaking device. So there you see it, and this is exactly what happens. You see it at particular intervals, and could you share a description of what you got that these beings are, like what type of being, what they look like?
Well, it depends on if you want the ones that were coming out of the portal or the ones that are actually in the little machines.
Both.
The ones that they're like these little gatekeepers, and they have a little bit of strange tentacles on their faces. They're having a good time. It's a very high vibration. It is part of the Galactic Federation of Light. It's a branch off of them. And then what feels like is they come out in these ships, and then those ships have drones. So that's what they're doing. They're here for, feels very benefic to me. Did I say that? Benefic?
Well, yeah, they're benevolent.
Benevolent.
Yes.
Thank you. Benevolent.
So last time, instead of getting the video, we actually got some stills that were curious. So, and I'm sure maybe I could take some more. Maybe they won't mind some still photos. I don't know.
Seems okay.
Okay, still seems okay. Yeah, it's like a series of ships that just come out kind of one after another. And, the more interesting ones, let's see, my stuff is starting to disappear. I think people are stealing some of my files, and I understand, how could you protect yourself against, the guy that founded Microsoft, for instance,
Right.
or how could you protect yourself against the NSA or something, one of those alphabets? It's not easy. If they want to get in, they're going to get in. But yeah, some photos have been missing now, and little things I had for quite a while. So it was interesting because they appeared over on one side more as these streaks of light or beings of light, more like those worm-like or snake-like things that we've seen. So this is what they looked like as they were doing their thing, just one after another after another. Now, it's not that the camera's moving, so here's some sort of, what do you make out of that?
Those are beings. They feel like time jumpers, portal jumpers or something. Different frequencies for different places, for different beings. It's all so curious.
Yeah, there's something there too that's too dark to really see. And then when you look over to the side, there's some more. So it's really curious. And then you have these other lights, and this is what it's just like a procession. It's like a procession that goes on, and it literally goes on for, I think, like hours. It just keeps going.
It does. It keeps going on and on and on. And then when we were videotaping and the lights started going out, that was the first indicator that, it's like they want people to know, but they don't want to know certain things or something. I was just getting a nudge to back off with the videotaping a little bit.
Yeah, so I guess they didn't want us to share too much, but a little is okay.
A little is okay. Right, for whatever reason. Sometimes I simply don't get details, and that's just that.
Yeah, it's interesting. But at the same time, Cindy's now been working on contacting part of the Pleadians and the Galactic Federation. Well, actually, we didn't necessarily seek out. We were just looking for benevolent beings, and that's what came through. And so, there's one that has been communicating on a regular basis and just wants to let us know exactly what we were talking about, that they are here.
Yeah.
They are here, and they will help us pick up the pieces. At some point, they will come and help us.
It's really, really important that we help ourselves, though. That's like they'll help those who are helping themselves. because it's like we're like children. You don't want to do everything for your kids. Sometimes your kids have to figure certain things out for themselves. That's for their own good, and we are no different.
Grizz says he's got to check them out first. Well, that, goes without saying. You just got to, I think the way to check them out is you could feel with your energy and sense them, because it's kind of easy to see. And that's what makes it so easy to see some of the cast of characters that are behind everything that's going on right now in the world. Just look at them, look at their energy, and their motivations. So, with the beings, again, they give you certain feelings. Like if you are around something that is Draco, you know it. I mean, it's just a very ominous energy. And same thing with some of the Greys. Not Draco-ish. Dracos feel very strongly yucky. I mean, the Greys are kind of creepy little guys. Some of the Greys are pretty creepy little guys. Not all. I mean, there's different types of them as well.
There's all kinds out there. It takes all kinds to make the world go round. And I think one of the biggest jokes is that we're here by ourselves. That's just such a horrible, mean trick that they played on us.
Yeah, we've never been alone. That's the bottom line.
Right.
I think that they wanted us to think that we're alone and there's nothing else out there. That's part of their control grid. So we have never been alone. When you look at the Vedas and the whole Hindu tradition, Buddhism, actually, I mean, just look at every other tradition around the world, and they'll tell you that there's a lot of beings out there, and there's tons of planets, and there's tons of life.
There are, and it's all around us too. I mean, the feelings, the vibrations, just everything. You just really have to stick your etheric tentacles out there.
Okay. Yeah, as Alia Lynn says, you feel the love from them. And so Fitonia says the beings you describe with the tentacles are on their faces are the Zud.
Interesting.
Ood. I'm going to have to do some research on that one.
That's curious. Yeah, I'd like to know more about that. They seemed happy. I mean, they had a good vibration to them when I reached out and connected. So, I mean, this is all still kind of new to me, so I'm just learning. But yeah, it's really curious. I'm a little bit apprehensive to share it, but I feel like there are some things that they want other people to know. Yeah, that one looks a little creepier than what I saw in my mind. But, I don't know. I just got that there are tentacles on the faces. Interesting.
Like that?
No, well, I only saw 2 tentacles. These ones have a lot, but maybe it's not completely clear. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah. As we were saying, I saw a comment in there that said there's a lot of creatures, in God's creation. Yeah, I mean, definitely. Why would we be the only ones? So most definitely, there's tons. Grizz is talking about the pact between the Greys and the government. Yeah, there's like photos going back to that. Eisenhower, and obviously, what the Nazis did is the Nazis. Look at them. They had pacts big time going on. And that was why their technology was so far ahead of everybody else as well.
It is. And, that's always something to take into consideration when you're contacting. And what I do, I just go with the vibration that I have. And it feels like they put me in this egg. And then it's a really high vibration, of the heart. And then I start seeing things. And then that's how I make my connection. But we're all different, I mean, what works for one person might not work for the other. And Cindy, did they tell you that my peeps from the Pleiades say hello and stay? Well, why do you think you reach out to us, Grizz? There's a connection there. Absolutely. Absolutely. Those are your peeps, dude.
So John had said I have to disagree with the idea that they would be coming here physically. One of the things that I'm wondering is that perhaps we have to get our consciousness up higher before they, can. So, if a being is like 6th density, then perhaps only now is why we're starting to get to see things much better instead of just, like I've seen energy patterns forever and known that there's something there. And then now it seems to be changing, and I'm seeing a lot more stuff, more solid, getting like crystal clear impressions, faces, everything. It's our vibration that's going up higher. If you do look at all the legends, though, like the Hopi, they believe that they do come and help us physically put things back together. But it might be that the people that are left are no longer 3D, 4D, but maybe we're on a higher density, and that's why. So it might not be everybody that gets to see them if they're not able to release, the fear and the pain and everything that holds us down vibrationally.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, there's different things to take into account, how that's going to happen. We're just not sure. We've never seen it. We don't know for sure. Morning Star Story. Thank you, Cindy.
Yes. So it's I think that has something to do with it. And I was thinking too, because what if we wake up 30% of the planet, maybe if we're optimistic, 25, 30%, maybe there will be a timeline split, where at some point there's enough of a consensus reality, but there's two conflicting ones. So some will see things as, complete end of the world, etc. And others will see the new heaven and a new earth starting to be, formed. Because, we're creating this reality as we go. And that's part of this. And that's why they've, done things the way they have. It's all about limiting us, telling us, just how limited we are, how much we need their technology, as they want us to merge with robotics and AI ultimately. And, we have to avoid at all costs, anything that they're going to force on us at that. I don't see it happening. I mean, they're going to try. I know they're going to try, but I just don't see enough people just complying. But not going to get off in the negative spin. But
right. And Could Be Dreaming says, I have chronic migraines, but had been doing pretty good the last few months. Last few days, migraine is back. I'm wondering if that's our Schumann that could be going off here that's affecting you maybe.
I think a lot of people right now are getting uncomfortable headaches and sensations because your pineal glands are waking up. And it comes in stages. And like right now, I'm going through another stage. And it can be very uncomfortable. It feels like there's a ton of pressure in your head. It might even make your ears pop. And then it will start to regulate. Now, what's happening now with me is sometimes there's even sharp stabbing pains that come through. But at the same time, I do think the pineal is expanding and getting more activated. As typical day, I'll do, like over 800 mantras, because it just opens your pineal up wide. And it also clears away the negative energies. So important to keep that going so we could keep moving higher, because they're trying to grab us by the feet and pull us down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're going to use everything they can to grab us and pull us down, even like these fear things when we're home right now and we're all stuck home. I do feel like that's, in a way they're trying to pull down our vibration, but really ultimately it's up to us. We have a choice to think what we want to think in our head. And if we just follow this certain train of thought onward and upward, try to think of the next best thing. If you're in a really bad spot, try to think of the next thing that's a little bit better than where you're at, and create a bridge from your lower thoughts to some much higher thoughts, and do it in baby steps. Pull yourself back up. Let's not let them hold us down like this.
And I think a lot of you guys, like exactly, Joffrey's experience in his pineal waking up, and stabbing things in pineal, other spots. I mean, honestly, Cindy knows. She's seen me a lot of times. All of a sudden, something will hit me, and it's really bad when I'm driving, because there's sometimes we go by areas where there's not really the benevolent ones, and I could feel them, like they sent me, and then they like. Their attention comes on me, and all of a sudden I'll get a sharp pain, it's almost like somebody's trying to scan my brain, and trying to sense my thoughts and who am I, because I guess they noticed me,
Yeah.
but I notice when they do that, and it's gotten to be, and that's the difference, because it's so clear when they're benevolent ones, because they're not like that. It's this warm, loving feeling that comes over, not that cold-blooded sort of probe that you get from the darker ones.
Right. There is a difference with the vibrations and the sensations, and what you get and what you don't get. And mostly what I've learned to do is just follow my heart wherever my heart wants to lead me, and then kind of encompass in that energy. And then I start seeing visions of things, and I start getting information like vibrations of emotion that I need to translate. So, we can all do it. It is about following the heart. Super, super important to do. And, if you can just get into your heart center, that heart vibration, and just stay there for as long as possible, that's going to raise your vibration too.
It definitely, Crazy Coyote says, patent 060606 is something out of the blue. In the past, I've seen what I think is very, very similar to, and Cindy has too, Sumerian cuneiform writing come through the third eye when I've been deep in meditation, and it always runs through in like a emerald green color whenever I see it. And it does look a lot like that. It's kind of like Sumerian cuneiform writing that will come through. Well, the last deep meditation I had that was completely different than that. It was like seeing the whole grid. And it's just amazing. We do live in like a neural network. This is, it's just the size and expanse and the depth of it is incredible. And, we never really go away. We just change forms, so there might be death of the physical body, but, as soon as that happens, then we just find ourselves, in a different state of being.
Marla Anderson, she said, I've been having periodic sharp pains just left of my crown. I feel like that's some sort of healing going on. I know it sounds funny because it hurts, but my first inkling was there's some healing going on there, which is really, really awesome. And I think when Mother Earth does these spikes, it heals us just a little bit. So keep an eye on it. Try to relax, get some rest, drink plenty of water. Sometimes not having enough water can give us a headache, but I don't think that's the case with you. It's just something that we should be doing right now so that our body can exchange information with itself at a faster rate, higher vibration.
Yeah, so Grizzly's a natural protector. That's just who he is. He's a natural protector out there. And there are. Well, there has to be. There just has to be, because where you have the darkness that would prey, on those that don't understand who they are, then you're gonna have to have somebody stand up for you sometimes. And we all have a purpose, and for Cindy and me, it's letting others know, illuminating others so that they can learn how to heal themselves mostly, and, teaching people about how the universe works in so many ways, and trying to, help others get out of the grip of the, prison planet grid that has us locked down, but is starting to crumble. I mean, it's just so easy to see, clear to see what's going on. And Dave, that's wonderful. There's nothing like having a good wife, and I'm probably more blessed than anybody in this galaxy.
He's so sweet. That's nice. Thank you. Give me a kiss. Okay, yeah, Grizzly, definitely with your Nakshatra was a fierce, protective Nakshatra. Very fiery, very strong, made for protection on every level. And it's really important to do a little bit of self-realization at this time. And like when I do the charts, Nakshatras are the star that's rising in the east when you were born. And that's extremely informative. Just that alone, the planets and stuff, those are hit and misses, plenty of hits. But when it comes to the nakshatra, as long as your time of birth is right, they're extremely informative. And Grizzly was definitely one of those super strong protectors on every level.
Yep, most definitely. And our brother Netsai is like that as well.
Yes.
It's just part of what we do, and I've shared with you some past lives that I've discovered through meditation and then verification from others, so two of them recently was basically a Buddhist monk, and that's why it's just so easy for me to spend all day just going into meditation and doing QiGong and stuff. I mean, that's bliss to me. It's peaceful, especially out in nature. It's just so blissful. And so it's really an advantage when we could go back and see clearly. But the thing is that the dark ones, they don't really have what we have. They can only go so far, is the bottom line. And they will flee from us if we command it. When you're talking, things like these spiritual wraiths and stuff, we just really got to let them know we're not consenting. And the world is way more like, I don't want to say, it's more like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. And, there's a lot of truth in that, a lot of truth in these things. And so, we have to hone our abilities, our spiritual abilities. And, as this is out of Gaia, it says, who are the Pleadians? And I read all of Barbara Marciniak's work on that, as well as others. Interesting stuff. I mean, when the first time I read it, it felt like honestly, like I had written it to myself to wake me up at a certain point in time. That's what it really felt like. It's like I know all this,
Yeah, me too. When I listen to it, and it's something that I like to listen to help kind of get me centered, kind of get me grounded, kind of bring me back to the whole reason that we came here. Because what we see around us in the 3D is we came here to shift this place. We came here to shift everything. We came in here with certain abilities and certain knowings to help nudge people out of the system and help wake other people up as best as we can, and sometimes all we can do really is meet people where they're at, not get frustrated if they're not waking up. That's okay. Plant seeds, plant little seeds and baby steps. And at least then when it's time, they have the information. They can say, hey, so-and-so said this, and go back and read a little more about it. And there, you've planted your seed. You've started it to root, and there you go.
And the Pleiades, they're just special to look at them. The Seven Sisters, they're called. I have come out in the middle of the night, like when it's like 2 or 3 a.m., and maybe want to go get a drink of water or what have you, and just felt pulled, like I got to go outside, and then just go outside, and I would automatically be pulled to look exactly where the Pleiades are. And sometimes, like one time, it was crazy. It looked like it was so much closer than it was. I don't have an explanation for that. It's really dark where we are, so we could see things nice. But it was like it was so much closer, and it was twinkling, like it was speaking to us, to me. And it's just kind of wild. They are like our cousins, and very close relationships with that. But we have DNA from so many different groups in us as well, more than just the Pleiades. But going back about 4 years ago, maybe 5. Yeah, I think it was closer to 5 years ago. In meditation, all of a sudden, more than once, I saw this face. And it was what I would take to be a Pleiadian, female. Almost like silvery blonde hair, petite, beautiful with a great vibrance, just an amazing energy. And I could see her mouth moving, but I couldn't understand the words she was saying. So I saw that in meditation a few times, starting about 5 years ago. And then that being is the one that came through with Cindy, because, Cindy's a better, clearer channel than I am. She's super gifted. So she got it clearly. That her name, well, she's part of a collective, and her name is Laurel, and they definitely want to help us.
They do want to help. They want to give us advice. They want us to basically reach out to our communities, get stable, and sort of integrate. So we're the light anchors. We need to anchor into where we're at, and then just let other people see our light. Hence the light anchors. And we have a very important job to do. We need to take care of ourselves, and I don't know how clear it is. It's just I have really strong emotions, and I get these vibrations, and I translate them. So that's the best I can do with what I got. And every time I do connect with her, it's like super strong bliss, love. And like I said, I feel like I'm in an egg, and it's a little like paralysis, but I'm not asleep, and it feels good. Like when I used to get sleep paralysis by myself, they would paralyze me, and it was bad. But this time I could sit in that egg and just bathe in it all day long, because I know it's raising my vibration, and it's a super awesome, wonderful feeling.
And I think that they are reaching out now to many people, across the globe, because it's shifting. They're gonna not do anything that would impede on our free will, but at the same time, the other side's not playing fair at all, and so they just want to let us know that they are here with us. That's what the message is, and also that I think they will help us to pick up the pieces. I don't see them. I don't see basically what we see in the Vedas, where there's wars of the gods. You never know. You really never know, with, ships screaming one after another, looking like Star Wars, blasting lasers at each other, or what sounds like nuclear weapons. That did happen in the past here. And, but, I don't see that particular thing. And if you look at, the Hopi and, the Dogen and Mother Shipton's prophecies and so many others. I know the Cherokee too, and the Ravens in the House or not. But there's so many indigenous cultures, tribes, peoples that have the exact same legends, and they're looking for the return of, say, Quetzalcoatl. They're expecting the return of White Pahana, and Viracocha is going to come back. And then Christ is going to come back. The Imam Mahdi is going to come. The Maitreya is coming, And what's happened is that the dark side just kind of gets us thinking that everything that's not our tradition is all just devils and demons, And that's not the case. There's most definitely a benevolent brotherhood and sisterhood out there that wants to have us kind of graduate and get this planet out of the dark age that's been in.
They do, and I do think that we are going to be reaching new heights as far as it comes to healing ourselves, healing each other. I got this. I'm always excited about the tuning forks, and I got this new tuning fork that they created, and they've noticed during the studies in like the last 6 months, our energy bodies are actually getting denser, and they needed tuning forks that would kind of clear through and repattern the human body a little bit better, a little bit stronger, a little bit faster, because our energy bodies, and I'm not sure what's up with this, I just know that the studies are in, and they did it, and they worked on thousands and thousands of people, and they realized that the old tuning forks just weren't cutting through the energy bodies good enough. So that was really, really curious to learn that information, since I do study the tuning fork stuff.
So Rob says he doesn't sleep anymore. He just kind of goes to another dimension. And I'm hearing a ton of you guys saying the same thing, that dreams are not the same anymore. It's a lot more active. There's a lot more going on. They're way more vivid. That's because we're kind of almost living in a waking dream now. And isn't it curious that the Australian Aboriginals say we're heading back into dream time? So when you look from every tradition around the globe, they all tell us that we're in this special time. It's just a given. This is what we are here for, and it's beautiful because it is actually the liberation of the planet. Though we do know that these dark forces are trying, to hold on to it with their, icy cold grip as much as possible.
They are. They don't want to let go. And like in a bad relationship or an abusive relationship, usually the ending, when they know they have nothing to lose, is the nastiest time, and that's when they try to grip the hardest and force themselves and trick you the most. I've been noticing how the light is using the dark, to trick them. They go ahead and do something dark, but then overall, in the end, the light ends up winning. So it's like this weird 3D, 4D chess game that's been going on, and I do watch it play out, and it is really curious. When you're a little bit awake, you can see how these things work. You can see how the dark works through other people to try to make your life miserable, but ultimately it turns out in your favor if you can just remember, okay, this is not being done to me, this is being done for me, something for my personal growth, something is going to come out of this, and just hold that mindset, and you'll see.
Yeah, and so Zeke says, "Oh my God, you just nailed it. It's not sleep. It's going to another dimension. That's it. Yeah, another reality, and that reality is if we notice, and it's more pliable. I was gonna include another PDF, but I'll do it with a different video, maybe tomorrow. Astral Dynamics, there's like a follow-up book. Robert Bruce did it, and I read it years ago, and it was great, and I practiced it, and it really helps because it could help you control your dreams, literally. And it's something that's a good skill to have, most definitely. And so there's like advanced training and techniques. I'll dig it up, and we could talk about it as well, because it's fun stuff. My brain's tired now. It really is. It's like tired because it's like you're saying, it's almost like it's not shutting off. I mean, we're busy on this side. We're busy on that side.
Yeah, we're going, but I think we're, on the precipice of something really, really interesting. And I'm really glad that, I know some people, they're not awake, and that's okay. Everybody in their due time. But I am so grateful that I'm awake to be able to see and understand what's happening out in the ether.
Many years ago, I was talking to a friend that is Hindu, and said to them, "Do you know the Ascended Masters?" And he said, "But of course. They're the rishis, and so they have another term for them, and I've talked about that before. So they're the ones that channel, like they've channeled so much information and given us so much information, and then think in terms of avatars, because they will send one of them back, here and there. Like Buddha was thought to be living on a planet in a totally different star system, and he heard the distress of the earth. And so he voluntarily gave up his body there and then incarnated here to help us teach, help teach us and show us the path to enlightenment. And, there's cases of these beings one after another. It's pretty fascinating to like study them, and to really look deep into these legends.
It is a lot of fun, and I really think that this is the stuff they should be teaching in school. And hi, Miss Cheryl S. She says, why do some experience these things and some don't, even when they feel and believe? I think it has to do with DNA memory. When you see something that feels familiar, and you're like, oh wow, what is that? Or it grabs your curiosity. That's your DNA talking. And I think if you've done it energetically, somehow you can see it and understand it and feel it. It's also beautifully complicated, but it's really fun. And once people start tapping into who they were, their energies, then I think that's how they see these certain things. And some people are just made for the energies to come through them, and then they can have these energies translated. So it's all a lot of fun.
is. We all have different sets of gifts as well. What I found in general is it is generational to a degree. The younger kids are, for the most part, unless they've had, V's, you guys know what I mean, right? Because I think a lot of that is all about limiting people's perceptive ability, and it works, unfortunately. And it's a horrible thing to do. But a combination of things will dull your ability. And so, things like that, and also drinking a lot of fluoridated water over the years, using regular fluoridated toothpaste. I've been making my own for like a long time now. And oddly enough, I think it's superior, and it's just so simple. It's just baking soda, coconut oil, tea tree, and peppermint oil. And sometimes you could throw clove in there too. It'll be good if you have any pain issues. So simple, and it doesn't cost anything. But, we are bombarded by things that are designed on purpose to keep our abilities suppressed. The thing that has, I think, worked, well, they go hand in hand. Mantras to me and QiGong go hand in hand. There's such a perfect combo together. Because when you vibrate the mantras, if you ever listen to the Tibetan monks, they're deep and resonance, that is shaking the crap out of your pineal gland, which is decalcifying it and waking it up. So, mantras will open up your abilities. There's absolutely no doubt. They will help anybody. But you have to be diligent. Like I said, we spend at least a half hour to an hour doing mantras, a day, pretty much. It depends, then we'll always do at least 20 minutes to 30 minutes minimum of QiGong as well. And sometimes way more, so it just depends on what the schedule is. But we make sure that it's in there every day, because if we miss it, boy, do we feel it.
Yeah, we do feel it. And Sally up here was saying, she said, I'm feeling very dizzy. I hear the energy is amplified in my ears, and others call it ringing in the ears. Since Friday, the ringing was off the charts and still are off the charts. Boy, I know. The dizziness for me and the ringing in the ears for me is almost debilitating. It's pretty bad. I was like hitting the wall, stumbling into the wall today. And in bed, I went to roll over, but it's like the rolling didn't stop. I kept going, and I do believe it's the energies and the Schumann and everything changing. Just hold tight, take good care of yourself, take your vitamins, lots of rest. Intermittent fasting usually is pretty good for the body, depending on you. But yeah, just really baby yourself through this and rest so that the energies can kind of catch up and do what they need to do inside of your body.
Yeah, and Sylvia says the first mantra she did gave her a horrible headache. It can be uncomfortable, as we basically get the pineal gland working. But when you really look at the importance of it, it's so important. If the light of thine eye be single, then the whole body will be filled with light. It's the key. It is the eye of Ra, the eye of Horus. No, it's not actually supposed to be anything that you're afraid of. Although, again, they always try to get us afraid of the things that will lead to our liberation. That's the modus operandi that they use. So it's crucial and critical. And then, see, the thing is that we could see right through lies just so clear, and illusion. And you get to the point where often people can actually see people's auras, their energies, and you could read it. A lot of people are able to see colors, and curious as to who out there could actually see colors of the aura as well. I think it's going to be more people than you realize.
Yeah, and Miss Nicole says detoxing your body and healing yourself can be painful. Oh, it so can. It can be achy, painful, grumpy. It can be so many things. But in this day and age, the way we live, we really need to. We really need to be detoxing in some way every day, even if it's just a little bit of lemon water, a little pinch of aluminum-free baking soda is really, really good. do that in your water. And I prefer distilled water just because I don't know what they're putting in the water these days. It's hard to say, fluoride perhaps. So yeah, just really take good care of yourself. A little detoxing every day is accumulative.
Danu Vendetta says it's the Force, because it is. That's exactly what it's based on, and it's also the Holy Spirit. It's the Shekinah, the divine feminine side of it. So I mean, it's out there in every tradition.
Miss Kimberly, thank you so much for your support. She says, sink your hands into Mother Earth. Absolutely great idea. Grounding.
Yeah, and now that you said that, I looked at my nails, and I gotta actually clean them up a little bit, because we were digging, and but it's wonderful. And then when we put plants in, I talk to them and send them energy, and because they can communicate with us. Plants are telepathic. They have consciousness. There's actually been studies done that show that they will react to certain people because of the experience they've had with those people in different ways.
Yeah, they do. They do respond. I know we have one plant. It's a pepper plant in here. It's really cute because when we walk over to it, it kind of like moves its little leaf like it's waving. And Jules Pope says hi from Australia. Well, hello Australia. It's great to see you. Glad you're here.
And there's like 20 plants on the windowsill. It's the only one that moves. So it's it's not a draft, and it's not vibration. Our vibrations that's doing it. It's kind of wild. But see, we've lost touch with all that. We've lost touch with, that whole respect for the earth. And instead of using the earth, treating it with respect. And, we're a part of the earth's body. We should be living in a symbiotic relationship to it. Unfortunately, the dark ones have us living in a society that is a plague and a pestilence, which, when you have a plague and a pestilence in the body, it reacts and it fights back with the immune system. So no wonder we have issues.
And then if a tree senses some kind of a poison, it will actually send a signal to the tree next to it and let it know to put out something to counter whatever is attacking it. So they talk. They definitely talk.
Geoffrey says, do the plants judge us for eating them? In the Vedic line of thought with transmigration of a soul, if everything is done with reverence and prayer, then what it will do is basically send that being on to a more evolved state of life the next time out. Take Zeke. I'm thinking he's going to come back maybe as a person next time, because boy, has he changed. He's always been a really good dog. He's been a great boy. He's so well behaved, he's just full of love, and he's evolved so much. I think from, the energy work, his consciousness is amazing. And, I do think that his next step might be, as a person somewhere, because that is the line of thinking. We evolve from simpler forms. Even the rocks are alive. So, everybody would kind of start out as a simpler form of life and then move along, going higher and higher and higher, till you got to be basically like the angels or the gods themselves.
Yeah, it's like when you serve something greater than yourself, it's like giving a piece of yourself to that thing that's greater than yourself, and therefore kind of meshing with that thing and maybe becoming it, perhaps.
Yeah, so... Oh, yeah, they definitely do. Geoffrey says, so my plants appreciate me for taking good care of them and will return the nourishment to me. Yeah, most definitely. They appreciate it. And so, I mean, there's the line of thought, too. I mean, we could do whatever we want. We do have free will. It's a free will universe. We always give thanks, and we always charge our food. It's just something we do every single time before we eat. And, give thanks for everything that basically made it possible, and sacrificed as well, because it's pretty much always a sacrifice. And there's the concept of ahimsa, which is no harm. That I don't know if you guys are all familiar with that, but there are some that will only eat of things that you're not killing them. So there are some, like the Jains, for instance. The Jains is... like a break off of Hinduism, and they really practice ahimsa. So, often you'll see them only eating things that are the fruit of the trees. So whether it's a tomato, a cucumber, an apple, an orange, things like that, things where you're not actually killing the plant, even the plant. And they obviously would be, vegetarians. They wouldn't eat meat.
And Joffrey says, well, he had a curious thing. He says, do you think if I use seeds from my carrots I grew this year, the next ones will remember me? These are honest questions. It's an honest question, and it's a good question. So if these carrots we eat become a little bit human, and then the next carrots are related to those ones, maybe in a way they just become better carrots. But no, I understand and follow your question. I appreciate it.
And doing things like, you could take the carrot tops when you cut them off, and you could just basically water them and grow them, and they'll give you more seeds. So that's a trick that we learned from, I don't know who that was. That was Dave? Okay, that was Dave in the UK. Brother Dave, taught us that one. So that's really cool.
And Grizzly says, I just can't bring myself to kill when I hunt and fish anymore. Yeah, you're definitely moving up, ascension wise, and that's how it goes. But it's not to say that anyone who does do hunting, like shamans and stuff, that they are bad. It's just you're moving into a different place, and growth is always beautiful.
And so there's books that I've read throughout my life, and one of them was a book on Raja Yoga, which is royal yoga. And, I shared with you, too, about Franz Barden's book, Initiation into Hermetics. And, the thought in those circles is that being a vegetarian, it helps to lift your vibrations up. So you can, and even, if Buddha was given something that somebody had, like an animal that somebody had cooked and offered him, he wouldn't turn it down. He would bless it and thank them because they were doing something nice for him. But he wouldn't choose to, he wouldn't choose to. Part of what happens too is you end up picking up the vibrations, the frequencies of the animals being killed in time as you get more and more sensitive, and then you just can't deal with it. Because every time, as time is going on, every time I eat meat, I feel like crap after. I just feel like crap after. It's like I just kind of can't do it anymore.
I think in some ways it dampens the signals that we get from higher self in a way. So, I mean, personally, us, we stay away from it now. But it's still a personal choice, and it doesn't make you bad if you do. I just feel it's better if you don't. That's all.
It's choice. And then also the other thing is, too, as you guys get more sensitive, I wonder how many of you out there can say that when you eat something that's live, you actually feel your cells tingle. You feel your vibration quicken. I think a lot of you out there probably do feel like what I feel. I'm always vibrating and tingling. So I'm not even that I'm aware of my energy body. It's that my energy body feels as real to me as the physical body. I don't really almost even distinguish it, one from the other anymore. It's just how I feel. Always, I'm vibrating, tingling, and I can feel the energy swirling around my chakras. It's just part of me, and that's just from many, many years, of meditation and practice. And, and that's where I was messing up with my age, because it's been actually about 35 years of consistent meditation, although I started with the martial arts at 12. And so, I was exposed to the concepts of chi and prana, life force, at that age moving forward. So I always kind of knew about it.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of different things that our energy bodies can do, depending on what we put into our body, because that thing is going to become human. So if we're eating stuff like processed foods, the really bad sugars, it's going to be difficult to make that quality human being. It just is, so that's why it's so important to eat right. And I didn't know, so I have like a lifetime of eating horrible. I mean, horrible. But like the last 2 years of my life, I've been eating a lot better, and I feel a lot better, and I probably have a good maybe even another 5 years of needing to eat a lot better to help really, really rebuild myself, because I did so much damage. But, they set us up to where we're really busy. The kids are hungry, the family's tired, and mom doesn't want to cook. So she just throws whatever on the table because she's exhausted from working. And they set our system up like that on purpose. It's done by design, and then feed us crappy food. And they don't tell us the huge consequences of eating that crappy food.
LJP says I'm O plus, just need some beef every now and then, feel so weak and so bad with no meat, but trying. Again, it's everybody's different. It's the toughest for an O, that's for sure. It's the toughest transition. I'm B negative and Cindy's A positive, so she's natural vegetarian, and I could kind of float with anything usually. Although I definitely feel a huge difference, when eating mostly a live foods diet. Really, that's when I feel the best, is when I'm focused on massive salads, where I'll have like almonds and walnuts, and obviously lettuce and carrots and onions and tomatoes. And I will eat cheese, so there's complete protein in cheese. Starting the day off with a shake, especially a green shake, is really powerful. And so, back in the past when I was hitting the gym really hard, I would start with 2 scoops, so 50 grams of whey protein. And, that is faster and more efficiently used by the body than beef or chicken or pork or any of those. So, it goes right into your bloodstream, and it starts rebuilding your muscle way faster. So it's actually superior as far as that goes. I never felt remotely weak. And, I was vegetarian for many, many years, pure, strict vegetarian for over 10 years. And then have been, became a little bit more of just following what the body was saying for a period of time as we were going through the ascension process. And now it's back to being pretty much a strict vegetarian. And again, you have to listen to your body, because you'll know there's going to be different times when you feel different in this process. And there's some, C. Ellison says, did someone say bacon? Yeah, that's a weakness. That's a weakness. And then there's all those alternative ones, now too, that you could always check out.
Yeah, and they'll get you by. They'll do. I think as long as you're getting the nutrients in your body, and high quality too. High quality is really important. And maybe even if you take in a little less food, but the food you do take in is quality, I think you would do a lot better that way.
Good to see you, Kenny. Hope everything is going well there. Ubi Vamp in the house as well. How do you keep the bugs off the plants in your windows seal? Yeah, there's some little like nets that have come in. We just kind of let them. There's not too many, there really isn't too many, and we kind of let them be. They get sprayed because we usually water them kind of misting. But there's not too many, and they're not being destructive at all. It's just a choice, so, but you're going to find more and more people are going to be going that way as well. And, one of the things as you go through is you're going to find that you're going to notice when you eat something that's alive, because food will either add to your chi or it'll take away from your chi. So, when you eat a big meal, like say it was Thanksgiving and you ate, maybe stuffing made with Wonder Bread, let's hope not. A turkey that was pumped up with hormones and antibiotics, and all the trimmings. And then, of course, you get the tryptophan as well. But you'll feel wiped out. Like, as opposed to, having a fruit salad, you don't feel tired. Because it's easier on your body to digest, and it doesn't really tax your system. So it's kind of netting you energy. Same thing with a salad that's healthy and organic. It'll net you energy. Whereas, meat is very, very tough on the body to digest, and that's going to take more energy than it's going to give you. Now, there are, being somebody that was doing so much lifting before, I did feel it made me more aggressive. I had more intense workouts in some ways, but not necessarily good when you look at it from a spiritual standpoint as well, because unfortunately, too, with so much of the beef, it's pumped up with all sorts of hormones and increase your testosterone, but also increases chance of risk of cancer as well. So it's something for everybody to go with their instincts.
It is. It is. You know, to each his own. We just would hope that people do the very best they can. You know, it's all a lot of choices, and some people have more difficult choices than others, but there's still choices.
So, guys, we'll get into more of these topics in bigger depth later. I want to thank you guys so much for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon, you know, because you guys have kept our heads afloat during the demonetization of the first channel and building the second channel. You know, so we truly, truly appreciate your support. You're wonderful and beautiful, and you know, there's nothing better than building family, and it's soul family because, you know, we, for the most part, we might not agree on everything, but we get each other.
Indeed, we do. And you guys have a super fabulous, wonderful day. God bless and namaste.
God bless, guys. Stay safe and stay happy out there, and, you know, don't let them get into your energy field. Guard that energy field and use the force. God bless. Namaste.